in the CSS developer guide. In the CSS developer guide, we have written inline, internal, external, and import. Below inline syntax we have written, and then we follow something. Each value end by semicolon, right? Okay. Come now. We have to write next call when we are following the inline CSS. When we are following the inline CSS, what are the possibility of page delay? And we can say overall advantage, disadvantage. Disadvantage mostly, not anything a disadvantage. Right here, call in inline CSS. Inline CSS is 1-to-1. 1-to-1. Okay. Inline CSS is 1-to-1. What is that 1-to-1? Write CSS code one time, and use also how many times? Only one time only. Use only one time. So write once and use once. Now, next you will write if 1-to-1, then if 1-to-1, then code. If 1-to-1, then what will happen? Code duplicate will happen. If 1-to-1, then code duplicate will happen. If 1-to-1, then code duplicate will happen. Next, if code is duplicate, then file weight will increase. File weight will increase. Next, if a file is heavy, then page loading may be slow. Page loading may be slow. Next point. Duplicate code take long time to modify. Duplicate code take long time to modify. Next, what is that? Duplicate code take long time to modify. After that, heavy page take more internet data. Next, after that, Google duplicate code will get rejected by Google search. Okay. Duplicate code, duplicate content, all will get rejected by Google search. Right? So at last, finally, what you have? Overall user experience may be bad. User experience may be bad. So what will happen at last? If user experience is bad, then definitely your page is not well optimized and your page will not be well suitable. Your page will not be much demanded. Google will reject your page. Multiple problems will come. So in this case, what we have better than this, almost all the problem it got fixed by internal CSS, and internal CSS is like you don't have to write again and again. You can write once, you can use many times. Okay. So that we are going to see now how that is internal and how it is going to help us in a better way. So these problems are linked to each other, not. Inline CSS is 1-to-1 that we have seen. Write CSS code one time and use one time. If 1-to-1, then code duplicate will happen. If code is duplicate, then file weight will increase, definitely. If a file is heavy, then page loading will be maybe slow, definitely. Duplicate code take long time to modify. If you want to do any modification, you have to do everywhere. Heavy page take more internet data. If the page is heavy, it will take a lot of internet data. Duplicate code will get rejected by Google search. After that, overall user experience will be bad. So in that case, inline CSS, we are not going to write anywhere. In the very rare case, in the very serious case, you can write one line and you can manage the task. That's all. Okay, but better try to write as a internal. Internal, what is the benefit? One to many. Write one place and same you can use throughout the project everywhere. Internal as of now, we are going to use in the page wise only. But if you write as an internal external method, you can use many places in one page or other page also. Okay, next line we have that is called. So to overcome this problem, we have a next solution of this one that is called internal CSS. So we can write the next point below as a internal CSS. Go here, right below the next point is a internal CSS. Internal CSS says the first fundamental, it's one to many. Internal CSS is one to many. What is that one to many? Write CSS code one time and use many times. Write CSS code one time and use many times. Use many times. Next, after that, next we have called to make it one to many. CSS has given the following methods. Okay, to write one to many, CSS has given following method. What are those methods? Number one, CSS by tag name. Second one, CSS by ID. The third one, CSS by class. Fourth one, CSS by parent child, parent tag and child tag. Okay. Last one, the CSS by tag group. CSS by tag group. So using this many way, you can apply and write here, not followed by bootstrap. Okay, bootstrap is not designed based on second method. Remaining all four method bootstrap follow. Bootstrap follow the CSS by tag name, class name, parent child, and then called tag group. They will not follow this method called CSS by ID. Not followed by bootstrap. Okay, ready? Now we have to create this files, this method, we have to create the example. by tag name, by tag ID, by class, by group, by parent and all, and we'll see the difference. And finally, we'll come to the conclusion, okay, out of this five, which one you feel more better? Till now, compared to inline and internal look better. Now, under the internal, see these five methods what we have written. You can write here above five methods are applicable in internal plus external plus import CSS. Using same five methods, we are going to write the CSS in all the places. Okay, under the internal, external, and import, all three places. Okay. So create the next file, CSS by tag name .html. Under which folder? Internal CSS folder. By tag name, you can write by tag name .html. Hope writing is completed. Create a file called by tag name.html under the folder called internal CSS folder. HTML only. File extension HTML only. Everywhere till JavaScript file extension, everywhere file extension will be HTML. File extension will be JS in JavaScript half class. Half class will be JS. Once you come in React, then file extension will be JS. Remaining everywhere HTML, HTML, HTML. Okay. Once we come under the external CSS, then CSS file separate .css and HTML file separate as a .html, and both will link together. So under the internal CSS, by tag name, name.html, by tag name.html. Okay, come inside HTML, you write, and then follow the header section. Then follow the style. Then follow the body. Now go under the style and write there a comment. Okay. Under the style, we will write a comment, or before style also we can write a comment as a HTML comment. This is called HTML comment. This is called as a HTML comment. In HTML comment, you will write all. In HTML comment, you will write the syntax for CSS. Syntax for CSS is syntax syntax. Syntax for CSS is selector, then curly bracket open close, inside property, property colon value. Okay, again another property, and again value. Okay, so we can write here property 1, property 2. This is called syntax. Under the head section, upper part, I have written college syntax. Write it. Then come to the body part. Not body, under the style part. Then you come to the style. Okay, under the style, we will use the body tag here and curly bracket open close, and inside we will use background as a orange color. You will find the background of current page will convert into orange color. Okay. Selector, if you look at the syntax, an example, at the place of selector we have written called body, and at the place of property we have written background, and on the place of value we have written called orange. Write it, run once, then I'll guide you which one is what. Written, save now, sequence, what is background as a which color? Orange color. Orange color will come, no problem in that. Here, look at here. What we have written. Syntax is like you have to use the selector and then curly bracket open close. Inside you have to write property value, property value. Now below example when we wrote at the place of selector, what we wrote? Call as a body. In the term of HTML, body is called as a tag. In the term of CSS, body is called as a selector. Not only body, all the tags. Whichever the HTML tags we have, all the tags are called as a selector in CSS. Okay, and tag is called, it's called a tag in HTML. Now let's go here and follow a maybe div or paragraph, anything you write, no problem. So better follow the div. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, change the number, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Now, which tag is that? It's called as a div tag. So the code what the example we have created, in this example, you are going to write the CSS for tag name. Tag name. Okay. We are going to write the CSS for tag name. Right, we are going to write the CSS for tag name. So for body tag we have written. Now which tag is there? Div tag. Let's go here and follow the div and open the curly bracket, close here and write inside. Okay. So now at the place of selector, what we are following? Div. So div also become as a selector. If anyone asks, what is the selector in CSS? Without any break, your answer should come. All the HTML tags are called selector in CSS. In case he is trying to extend next, for that we are learning the 5 methods. Okay. Remaining how many more methods we have? 4 methods we have. All are called a type of selector only. But as soon as if anyone asks what is the selector in CSS, we'll say all the HTML tags. Whichever the HTML tags we have, it will be called as a selector in CSS. In case they ask the type of selector, we have written 5 notes today. CSS by tag name, CSS for ID, CSS for class, CSS for tag group, and CSS for parent and child tag. These all are called type of selector. Those we are going to write and learn it. Okay. So div we follow, div open close. Now inside that we will write. Now in one line, how many division you want to display? Suppose total 6 division we have. 6 division we have. Okay, let's write something roughly. So height of the division should be 200 pixel. Okay. Width of the division should be 200 pixel. Okay. Now background of the division should be white color. Next, margin between two division, suppose keep 30 pixel. Check now, whichever the property you have written here, is it getting applied for all div or not? In current page, how many div we have, it will get applied for all the division. In current page, how many div we have, it will get applied for all the divisions. Applying for all. That is called CSS by for a tag name. So this many property, height, width, background, margin, we have applied, we have given for the tag name. Which tag? Div tag. Now in current page, your compiler will come, it will read from beginning, and wherever they will find the division, for all the division, this many property value will get applied. So what will happen is, it will look similar now. You will see. All the division will look same. Now it is printing in the new line. Region is only one of that. What is the region? It is called as a block level element. Block level element, by default, it will go to the new line only. Now we have to change their behavior. Using not display inline. Display inline is for the those tag that used to print the single line output. Okay. So Li, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. This is for what purpose? Not for the multiple line. These all are for the single line. So for those kind of tag, we can use the display inline. But for the division, paragraph, section tag, footer tag, okay, then article tag, SI tag. These all are some HTML5 tags I'm talking. So those tags are called a block level tag. Those tag has a multi-line container that can display the data in multi-lines. So for that, you should not use the display inline. We should use a float left, one option as of now. After few examples, we will see the another option. Call it display flags, not display inline. Display flags. Let's call it flex box. Okay. Come. Now right here, float left. Float colon left. You know, all came in the same line. My screen size is little smaller, so for me only 3 will come. In your case, 4 or 5 are coming. 4, 5 depends. 3, 4, 5 depend on screen size. If I also resize little window, for me also only 1 or 2 will come maximum. 2 are coming. 2 are coming, right? Space is not in the right side, because of that remaining gone to the new line. See here. It's look like this. Right? Once the window size will increase, so that content is getting rearranged because of float left. Float left is rearranging maybe 1 block, 2 block, 3 block. Hope looks similar. Yes, no should come in chat. Please reply once.
So that background orange, why it cannot be given body, it will become an HTML. That's why we are not using.
Where?
Background orange. Separately we are using body.
For body tag. Body we have made different color. You can do like this, remove the from here for body and apply for division. It should be cross color. Then only it will be visible, no? Like suppose background is also orange and division background also orange. It will not be visible. Okay. Content will come, but will not identify where to where it is. Okay. Okay. Working. Width. We are on the same journey. Okay. What we are trying to say, we are about to come to that place. Okay. So we have how many methods we have? 5 methods we have. No? CSS by ID, by class, by tag group. That is the solution of that. Okay. Definitely, if we create, if you write like this in current page, suppose there is a 10 division. 4 divisions should look similar, 4 divisions should look different, and 2 divisions should look different. But what you have done? You said all division look same. So at this place, your property will get merged and you are expecting something else and something else will come out. But this is also useful. Okay. When it will be useful, we have some certain single line theory for all. Okay. When to write the CSS by tag name. Okay. Now look into this page. Body tag is how many times? Body tag is only one time. For body, whatever you will write, it will come how many places? Only one place. So the theory says in one page, one type of tag use only one time. Then only use this method. Which method? CSS by tag name. Else in one page, same tag will repeat many times and you are expecting for different output. Now what will happen? All will get mixed. All will look similar. Okay. We will be making the notes also after writing one by one. Okay. So hope working. Go ahead next. In the same file, we can write. Okay. Calm down. In the same file, we can write again. Okay. Now go here, write the p tag. P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, anything. P2, P3, P4, P5. Okay. Now for paragraph, see whatever you have written for division, it is not going to apply for paragraph. It is only applicable for the division. It is not applicable for the paragraph. Because we are instructing completely to the compiler saying like in my current page, wherever you find the selector called div, only those places only you need to apply. So paragraph will not be applicable. Now whatever you write for paragraph, Okay, whatever you write for paragraph, it will be applicable over there. Okay, let's keep here. For a float left, margin some 20 pixel, padding also give something 20 pixel, give background green color, text color white color, then you see height width we have not mentioned. Let's mention the width also. Width maybe 100 px or 130 pixel, 150 pixel. Height let it be auto. It will appear something. Correct? Paragraph, how many paragraphs in one line? Again depends because we are given the width as how much? 150. If a screen is bigger, a screen is smaller, it may get difference. Yeah, for me it's coming as a 4 and 1 going to the next. Okay. So here the point is to understand is how to write the CSS for a tag name. So answer is mention the tag name, open the curly bracket, close the curly bracket, and whatever the property you want, you can write here. That is called again how to write a CSS by tag name. You will ask where is the useful, what is the use of this? Suppose in one page, using paragraph also we display the text. Using H1, H2, H3 also we display the text. Using division also display the text. Multiple way we display the text. Now suppose in one page, if there is a requirement, all the H2 should be blue color. in one page, whichever the H2 come, that should be in blue color. So what we can do? We cannot write for all the H2 multiple times. We can keep one place CSS for H2, and after that in current page, wherever you use the H2, it will come. You will see in most of the website, the color combination will not change very frequently. Like wherever you go, the heading will be always similar color. Okay, maybe little bigger or smaller, but everywhere it will be same color. Hyperlink, if you go, where we click, everywhere you will see the same color. Okay, it will not be a different color. In this page red, other page is a green. Okay, so we have this method are useful only. It is not useless, since even you can see here, which one? Bootstrap also follow this method. Bootstrap also follow this method. Let me open any file and show you where the Bootstrap follow this method. I will go here. Anywhere is it downloaded or not? Yeah, downloaded is here. I will go inside. I will go inside, and I will go inside, and I will go inside the main library. This is the file bootstrap.css. If I open this file, let's come inside. This is for which tag? Body tag. For body CSS are written. This is which tag? For HR also CSS is written. Look at here. H6, H5, H4, H3. For all CSS is written around. Come down. Look there. There is a tag called address. Look here. Tag called paragraph. See here. OL, UL, DL. Written around. So it says like in current project, wherever the address tag will come, all will look similar. Wherever the UL tag will come, UL and LI, OL and UL, all will look similar. Okay. So this method is not completely useless, it's useful only. According to need, we are going to use that. Okay. So how to write the CSS? By tag name, curly bracket open close, and inside add the n number of property and value. Okay. So if working, copy this one section, copy either the division block or paragraph block, anyone you copy, and come to the developer guide. Come to the developer guide. CSS by tag name we have written. Right below example. Under example, you can paste it. Okay, hope ready. Now come. Next is CSS by ID. So we can create the next file, CSS by ID.html. CSS by ID.html. Next file you can create. CSS by ID. Okay. Now, how to create the ID? As he has asked, in one page, if multiple division, all division should look different, then how to do? Now ID will help us. Will be division only, but ID will be different. And we will not write the CSS for division, we'll write the CSS for a ID. Okay, so write the div first. Div, keep for that ID equal to maybe block1 without a space, header, left, middle, block, left, middle, right. Okay, so how many division? 4 division, block 2, block 3, block 4. For all division, we given as a different ID. So div only, but ID is different. And we will be adding the CSS for ID, not for the division. Okay. Let me write here one line. If I write as a div inside the div, if I give text align center, what will happen? Text align center in the sense content will be in the middle. Content, this for the content purpose. So header, left, middle, right, all will display where in the center. For how many division? For all the division. This becomes a common property for all. Okay, this becomes a common property for all. In current page, how many divisions are there? All text will be in the center. Common property. Now, for all division, there is a different IDs are there. So, apart from text center, so requirement says all division text should be in the center. So no problem. What we did for the div label, we wrote okay, who has a center. All the division will be in the center. Now remaining first division should be green, second should be black, third should be orange, fourth should be blue. So for that, what we have? ID we have. We can write for all. Let's go. Now, in HTML, while calling, we have to follow ID equal to particular, and in the CSS, we have to follow a hash. Hash represent the ID. Hash an ID name. So hash an ID name like this. Has an ID name. Okay, now how to create the ID? Using hash. How to call the ID? Using the property called ID. ID equal to ID name. Hash you have to exclude. Now come inside. The first one. The padding, suppose 30 pixel. background green, color white, and already text align is center. Padding if you want, we can increase to 40 px and check once. Okay, check now. Background is which color? Green color. Text is white color. And text alignment will come as a sentence. It's common for all. Then let us check once. Coming. Next we have to write for the hash tool. Hash block tool. Hash block tool. Where 33.33%. Height 300 pixel. Background red. Float left. Float left. Color white. Ready? Block 2 is coming or not? Block 2 is coming. Now can you write some more thing for block 3 and block 2 and block 3? Block 2 is coming. Go there for block 2.
Left word is not displaying center.
Hmm?
Left word is not displaying center, right?
This one.
Hmm.
Here you want to bring.
Like header, left, right is not.
In header we are given the padding. Padding we are given. Have you given the height in header?
No.
No. So padding what it will do? Padding top 40 and bottom 40. Okay. The in the header block 1 header is written. So content of this block 1 will leave from the top 40 pixel and will leave in the bottom 40 pixel, so that it will look in the middle completely. Look at here. What is happening? It's coming exactly in the middle, top 40 pixel and bottom 40 pixel. But for this, what we are given? We are not given any padding. Directly we are given as a height. So content definitely it will appear from the top only. Okay. That is also not target in this example. In this example, target is for one tag, how to write the different CSS. Okay. So for one tag, how to write the different CSS based on
But we didn't text element, so
text align center for left and right. Text align center for what? Left and right. You can see from left is center, from right also is in the center. From top, you have to apply the padding top. Padding top, then it will come in the middle. Okay. So how many division? Two division. For two division, something different CSS got applied. See here. These both are division only, but for them nothing is applicable. Only text align is applicable. Okay. Remaining, these both are division itself, but here what happened? It is what is applied? Text align is applied, remaining background as well is not applied. Reason is we have not written this property for any kind of division. We have written this division via CSS for those element whose ID is block 2. Okay, those element, those tag whose ID is block 2. This we have written for those tag whose ID is block 1. It can be division, paragraph, no matter at all. It should follow the ID. If ID is matching, there it will get applied. Come on. Block 2 you have written. Now write for block 3. Has BLOCK block 3. Has block 3. Okay. Inside the block 3, you will be adding inside the block 3, you will be adding height of the division, assume like 150, width of the division, you will add as a 60%, 66.33%, 66.66%. Okay. Background as a maybe blue color and color as a white color. See where it is coming. Keep float left for this also. Okay, ready? See now, it's look like this. Last division will not add anything, we'll leave that just like that. Okay. So question is, in one page, if you want to make different kind of design using the same tag, how to write the CSS for that? So we have option called CSS by ID. For multiple division, we'll give the different ID, and for all the ID, we'll write the different CSS. So that tag will be same, but the ID will be different. And for all the ID, CSS will be different. So looking similar or something else? No. You can copy any section, maybe copy the first section or copy the second section, copy the first section only and paste into developer guide. As an example, we can create the ID using the hash. We can create the ID using the hash. Okay, ready? Copy this. Come to the developer guide. Right inside here as a example EXA and PLE. This example become little mix of because I have made multiple ID and some people are confused. Okay, I was supposed to create only one ID and to implement that, but okay, no problem. Come, we'll see next example will be much clear. Okay, then come to the next file that is called CSS by class. CSS by class. After writing the CSS by class, we can write one line theory here for create next file css by class.html. CSS by class. This line, if you have added in developer guide, it will be helpful. Okay, come to this file. In this file again, we can follow head and body. Under the head section, use the style tag, and under the body section, use a div tag. Apply one ID here. We'll write both header. Remaining you write as a container. Container, 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 and container. This all should be a class. One we kept as a ID. So we have in this body as a tag, header as a ID, and container as a class. So for body is the tag name is available only one time. So for that we can write directly CSS by tag name, background as a some color as a blue color. Okay. Next after that header for body write margin 0 px as well. Margin 0 px. No any gap from any side. Next after that so CSS by tag name is followed. Now come down, write the CSS for header. So header is a has ID. So what will follow? We'll follow the hash for that because header is as a ID. So now write for that. Padding complete 20 pixel and background as green color. Green color. Padding 20 and background. Okay. Padding increase since the content is not there. 40, right? Okay, hope added. Check now. Header is coming on. Header appears. Background is completely blue color. No problem. Let it go. Come now. Below we have called container. Container is a class. Class will start from dot. Container is a class. Now for container, we are not going to display the random number of boxes. We'll calculate properly. Okay. In one line, how many you want to display? Total 5 divisions are there. So in one line, how many you want to display? 5 are there, suppose. So if you want to display all 5 in one line, total width how much? 100%. 100% divided by 5. How much? 20%. write the width 20%, 20%. Container, okay. Next, after that, height, let's keep 300 or maybe 200. Container, then width, then height, then background, white, float, left, width, height, background, float. Width, height, background, and float. Width, height, background, and float. Now check. It's coming 4 in one line, 5 in one line. All 5s are coming in one line. See, margin you have not given. All are coming in the same line. But since you have not given the margin, so all are mixed with each other. Okay. So now go and keep inside a margin of 1%. So that in your computer also similar number of block and in my computer also similar number of block. Margin 1% if you give, then what it will do? It will take 1% left and 1% right. Top, bottom, okay, leave that. Calculate left and right. So left 1%, right 1%. How much? 2%. Total width is how much? 20%. Right? Now if you run, only 4 will come in one line. 5th will go to the new line. Because a space is not there. 5 into 2, 20% become as a extra. Sorry, 5 into 2, 10% become as a extra. So the total width is 20%. From total width, you have to minus the margin. So what should be the margin now? Exact 18%. 18% is a width and 1% margin left, 1% margin right. Will become as a total 2%. 2% margin and 18% is a width. 18 plus 2, 20. Now you will see 4 blocks will come in one line. 5 blocks. Getting 5 blocks? So how to calculate? Total area divided by number of blocks. Total width divided by number of blocks. So total width is how much? 100%. How many division we want to create? 5. So become as a 100 divided by 5, 20%. Now inside the 20%, you have to minus the margin and padding. So for one division, you are giving margin as a 1%. 1% left, 1% right. We discussed yesterday top, bottom, leave that. Okay, so calculate left and right. 1% left, 1% right. 2% and 20% is the already width. So it will become 22. 5 will not come in one line. So from 20%, you have to minus the 2%. See, 4 blocks, 5 blocks exact. Calculation part, no need to worry. We are going to do so creating so many pages. You will come to know automatically the width calculation. Just remember how to create a class. The class will create using the dot and ID we can create through the hash. And for tag name directly nothing to write. Directly write the tag name and write the CSS. So how many places it will come? All will get applied. See, both are different, both are div only, no? First is also div and second is also div. First looking different, remaining all look as a different. So for this, we have to write one single line theory. In one page, one type of design looks same If one page, one type of design required many times, in one page, one type of design required many times, then we will use the class. In one page, one type of design required only one time, then we will use the ID. Okay. In one page, one type of design is required many times, then we will use the class. And in one page, one type of design required only one time, then we will use the ID. Look at this example. In this page, one type of design you need how many times? 5 times. So you should not write the CSS 5 times. CSS will be duplicate. Okay, so for that what to do? Create a class and for all call the same class. So the design will be same. ID still is not used. ID is reserved for the JavaScript for the future purpose. We will write the single line theory. Hope working. Yes, no. It is only this many blocks only. This is the CSS part and this is the HTML part. In that theory is in one page, one type of design is required many times. We will use the class. In one page, one type of design is required only one time. We will use the ID. Now copy this and come to the developer guide. Right here. Okay, written. Now right here, in the case of ID, when to use the ID? In one page, one type of design required only one time. In one page, one type of design is required only one time. Then we will use this method, CSS by ID. In the second case, you can write, in the case of class, you can write, in one page, one type of design in the sense UI, design required many times. Then we will use the class. Clean and single line definition. If you use the same ID again and again, what problem will come? Like suppose in one page, one ID, if you are using many times, what will happen? In one page, if same ID we will use again and again, what will happen? ID will be duplicate. Suppose in one page, one ID you are using 4 times, so what will happen? ID will become duplicate. In the future, your JavaScript will ignore straightforward. They'll say one ID is 4 times. It will not work at all. So after looking into this JavaScript, CSS, your jQuery, Ajax, after looking into all the condition, single line definition will be best. In one page, one design is required one time, use ID. Using same ID, you wrote the CSS. Using same ID, you can communicate with the JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax everywhere using same ID. Okay. And suppose in one page, If similar design is many times, if you are going to write the ID for all, then CSS code will be duplicate. Then what is the solution? Write the class for that. Write the class one time and call everywhere so that design will be same. CSS code will be one time and usage will be many times. Now for JavaScript purpose. If the JavaScript want to communicate with the same division and all, JavaScript can call by ID also, can call by class also, can call by all the method. So at least you can save your CSS code. You will not allow to make it duplicate. If you write the CSS by class name. Okay. So we will work again tomorrow. We have some more method. These two are small example. And after that, we'll start creating the templates. Okay. So based on this, you can do some assignment or not. Let me see if you can do. Okay. Let me check the page in that assignment is possible for you or not. lmsglobe.com. Okay, try this after tomorrow class. Because in this float left, margin padding, many things are applied. Your confidence will go down. You will feel like you're not able to do. So better after tomorrow class we do, confidence will not come down. Okay. After tomorrow class, if you are doing, then easily you can start doing. Okay. So first we'll tomorrow we'll cover that thing. Then we'll come to this one. We will do set number 1, set number 2, some more. We will be uploading. Okay, so everyone, hope you have sent the email into the right. Okay, so yesterday the YouTube has again they have allowed